Hello students, warm welcome to all of you. Another course in strategic financial management, a very important paper in CA final. It is paper 2 in group 1. I have been teaching this subject for the last 17 or 18 years, and for me this is the most interesting subject in the entire CA final syllabus. I like only one subject, that is finance, and therefore I enjoy teaching this subject. For great success in any subject, you must first love that subject. And the passion of teaching, along with love for the subject, has kept me in this field for the last 17 or 18 years. Possibly this could be some 120th batch or so. It has been a great ride for me, great experience, great learning curve, and engaging students and helping them succeed has given me immense pleasure, satisfaction and happiness. My introduction first. I am MBA Finance, liking only one subject, as I said, finance. And I am in this field for the last 35 years, worked in the industry, in the banking and mutual fund industry for more than 3 decades. Whatever you are finding in your syllabus, they have been part of my regular work all these years. Therefore, when I talk to my students, I use my practical experience to convey the concept behind whatever they are learning using practical examples. And if you see the syllabus, we have foreign exchange. I have worked in forex market. I have been a forex dealer for 3 years or so. It has got derivatives. It has got portfolio management. I was a fund manager for almost 8 years. and we had used derivatives in our regular work, and since I had to track markets, I was tracking derivatives markets also. It has got bond markets. Our portfolios had exposure to bonds. It has got mutual funds. In fact, it is the same industry where I work. So you can see that all those which are forming part of syllabus, I have worked in that field, and therefore it helps me to convey the concepts in the best possible manner. And teaching is my passion. I have been teaching for the last 3 decades or so, but I am teaching CA final students for the past 18 years or so. And undying passion or tremendous passion can only drive home or can only give success to any individual. And that passion has kept me in this field for so many years. I have taught in so many centers in India, right from Jodhpur, Pune, Ahmedabad, Kochi, Guntur, Mumbai. I have taken lectures in Kozhikode, so Bangalore. So what I am trying to say is the wide experience and my interaction with students across India has helped me understand their requirement. And the requirement marginally differs from city to city, but goal is one. Everyone wants to be successful and want to become CA. I am also an author with my book on strategic financial management, now running almost 33rd edition. So when the syllabus changes, the edition number is reset to 1. So when you add all the editions which I will release, irrespective of syllabus, then I think it must be 33rd or 34th. And as an author, I interact with so many students who write to me on mail, and that has also given me a different kind of experience. Those students don't hear me in classroom, but when they read the book, they interact with me and ask doubts, and that has helped me too. Over the years, when I was a fund manager since 2007 till 2015, I had an opportunity to meet so many managements. Virtually most of the company managements I have met in different forums, and talking to the senior management helps me understand the corporate plan or how the businesses manage themselves. I was able to see, or I was able to get a holistic view of how the company is managed, and that gives me tremendous insight into the whole business setup actually. So when I will be engaging lectures, I will be actually trying to tell you some very interesting examples which I have encountered. So the practical experience which I have derived and whatever you are learning in theory, which I have actually seen in practice, would help me convey so many things to you very easily. You must understand the importance of this paper in Group 1. Group 1 has got 4 papers: financial reporting, audit and law. The remaining 3 apart from this subject of strategic financial management. Now this paper many students struggle. You must first understand why they struggle. They struggle because they by heart the formulae. They struggle because they don't spend time in understanding the concept. They try to learn the way they have learned in IPCC, and that is not the method you should adopt in CA final. You must understand the concept. You must know why this formula. Now, how this formula is derived. Why we are not using the other formula. Why we are using this formula. Now, you must understand the entire depth of, why the formula is used, etc., etc. Without knowing the concepts, you will not understand the formula. Therefore, concept have to be learned first. Then from the concept, you learn formulae. Then you learn application of formulae while solving problems. It's a systematic step, but many of them bypass the first important step of understanding the concept. And here I'm going to play a big role in taking you through the concepts, using several practical examples, and make you understand the concepts. Once you understand the concept, almost every formula in SFM I'll derive. So I will tell why this formula, how the formula has been born, how it is derived, what is the principle behind the derivation, everything I'll tell you. So you understood the concept, you understood the formula. Then when we solve problems, you will find it very easy to solve the problem because you understood the concept. In my batches, most of the problems are solved by students. I teach the concept, I show them the path, they only solve. So here too, I would be teaching you the concept, I'll explain everything, and when we take up the problems, I will read the problem, I will discuss what is given, what is to be found out, and then I will be solving the problem. What you can do is you can pause the video and you can solve the problem and then compare your answer with whatever I have solved. And in case you are not understood, you can run through my solution. So you would be learning instantaneously. And that solving problem on your own gives tremendous confidence. And that's how I have seen my students prosper over the years. Once I teach the concept and show them the path, they solve on their own. And when you solve on your own, you get tremendous confidence. So there is a kind of a belief that develops in your mind. Or you feel, well, I'm able to solve this problem. So let me try the next one. So you try the next problem, that also answer is correct. So you gather confidence as you keep solving problems on your own. And when you do many problems at a stretch, you gain momentum. And once you gain momentum, and that's what gives you that pleasure or satisfaction that you have learned and you are able to implement your learning. And I am going to actually create that atmosphere for you. For that purpose, it's very important that you listen to whatever I say. You have to be extremely attentive. Whatever I tell you to write, you should be writing. Whatever I tell you to mark, you should be marking. And only when you listen to everything, whatever I am telling, that momentum, what we spoke about, will come. That confidence, what you want, you will get. Now, what I am going to give? I am going to give you a book, textbook. It has got all the theory and all the problems. Suppose you are asking me, if I do the textbook only, will I pass? In fact, statistics is a proof, or history is a proof. Students who have just done my textbook, means whatever you are going to solve in the class plus the textbook. So many have scored 70 marks and above. Now to score 70 and above, just by doing this textbook or one textbook is something which you will always cherish or like. I feel that SFM is a very scoring paper. Once you have learned properly, once you are done with your whatever doubts you had, you have clarified it, then you must bank on this paper to score maximum marks. Why? Because the other three papers, financial reporting, law and audit, they are quite volatile. Whereas SFM, once you learn properly, now there is no question of something which is unknown comes in, because it's a concept which are developed for many years. So once you understood the concept, this paper becomes your strong paper. And there are so many students of mine who have scored 70 marks in SFM and around 40 in the other three papers. Now that's the kind. So very scoring paper. You must understand that. And you must know that you will be able to score only when you understood the concepts well, understood the formula, practiced the problems, etc. And my job is to create that feeling or that atmosphere for you, which will ultimately result in confidence. Certain things are very important for you. Number one is focus. You must be focused to your task. You are now embarking on a journey of CA final or becoming a CA. You must not lose focus. Means every activity of yours should lead to achieving that goal. Suppose you are in a habit of watching movies at least once a week, and you believe that this is actually taking my time. I am losing around 6 to 7 hours per week. Let me stop this. And in fact, you should be thinking like that, and you should be actually doing every activity which is going to see that your goal is achieved. So you have to develop that habit of that focus. You must be focused to your task. Dedication. You must be totally dedicated. So you have to put 100% effort. It should not be only in words. It should also be in deeds. Now everybody makes a plan, but they don't implement it. When you actually make a plan, it should be a realistic plan which you can implement. So you must be actually implementing it. You can say you should be actually making implementable plans. So starting with 3, 4 hours per day study, and increasing it gradually to 6 hours, 7 hours, 10 hours, etc. Hard work. Nothing shines without hard work. I have not met anyone till today who has put hard work and not succeeded, or who has succeeded without putting hard work. Means hard work is inevitable. You have to put that hard work. Success after hard work is the most sweetest thing. So, and once you are putting hard work and you are succeeding, the joy which you will get is unmatchable. So you must decide today itself, as I am going to put hard work. This paper of finance, when learned properly, can give us good marks. But for that I have to practice. Therefore, I should put hard work. So you should be willing to put that. Now, expectations sometimes create big problems for students. I got a call sometime back that everybody is telling this time paper will be easy. There is a question of, uh, believing rumors and then expecting paper will be easy. Why you are actually, getting carried away by these expectations? You should be adopting zero expectation theory. A zero expectation theory is that theory where you just concentrate on the process of work without any expectations. So what happens is when you are concentrating on your work, there is no question of any deviation. And when you are doing everything, let the paper come in any manner. I have put good work. I will succeed. So then we need not believe that I want this question to come. I have seen students praying God, God give me easy paper. Please understand one thing. Even if the easy paper comes, you must know how to write that easy paper. It is not easy to attempt an easy paper, because when the easy paper comes, your mind is in a different zone. Speed increases, and with increasing speed, a lot of errors come, and with a lot of errors, you get less marks. In fact, easy paper should give you more marks. So therefore, what I am trying to say, that manage your expectations properly. Expect something realistic. Concentrate on the process rather than prior or expectation. SFM and costing. These are two papers which are unique as compared to the remaining 6 papers. Now, what is unique? First of all, both the papers, whatever we have learned in the past, whatever it was prevailing around 25-30 years back, we have same thing today. Some of the concepts are as old as 70-80 years. They are not changed. But both these papers, you will never get marks, or you cannot score marks without practicing. So you must practice problems as much as possible. Suppose you have completed my course, you have done all the problems from my book. Now you are very much confident about the concept. Then you must attempt to solve the other problems which you can get from outside. So when you solve more and more problems, that practice will make you perfect. So the real secret of passing SFM with good marks is practice, practice, practice. Please understand this mantra. It's so important. You may do problems with me in the class, everything correct. You may do one-time revision at home, everything correct. If you are having surplus time, practice. Maybe you are doing the same problem. Remember, you may do the same problem. Numerically, they are same. But remember, you are brushing the concept again and again. And that stays in the mind. Now, the textbook which I have given you along with this course is a Bible for you. It has got all theory, all problems. It has got all the formulas listed. You have to keep this book with you for everything. You will be using this book. And you must be having approximately 400 pages notebook whenever you are listening to the lecture or writing notes for solving problems. It is preferable to have a separate 200 pages theory notebook, because when I teach a concept, we may be cutting across some theory question, a very important theory question for the exam. So I may be telling you This is a very important theory question. See, notes are there in the textbook. And when I tell you write important theory question, if you write in a separate notebook, then you can prepare a short notes later on. So you will have a dedicated theory notebook and you will have a dedicated problems book and our textbook. So three things are going to be with you. Dedicated theory notebook, a problems book, whatever we are solving in a class, plus the textbook. So three things will form your total material for SFM. Better to have red and blue color pens with you, because when I teach so many things, I keep on telling students, mark this in red, this is very important for exam, mark this in red, very important formula. So many important tips I give, and I tell my students, whatever is marked in red, you will necessarily see on the last day of the exam. You will definitely see on the last day of the exam. So I'm actually reducing your work. On the last day, we don't have much time, but I want to cover everything. So how to do that? So I tell students, mark these things in red. So keeping red pen with you is very, very important. You have to keep a pencil, scale, calculator, very good calculator, working calculator. It should be always with you. And highlighter also, will be highlighting certain things, will be underlining some things. Some of you who do not want to underline with pen, they can use pencil to underline. So with all these materials, you will be actually, starting any lecture. Means before you are switching on the video, you must keep all these materials with you ready. And it's better that you pay attention to each and every lecture very carefully. And it's not that you can miss some half an hour in between and still you can carry on. No, every minute when we are doing any chapter, I am possibly touching upon so many concepts. So you should not be missing any concept. Then the understanding is broken. And when the understanding is broken, you don't understand the concept, then it gives you what is called as lack of confidence. So you have to be very careful that you are very attentive in the class when you listen to whatever I am telling. And then we will be marking so many things in the textbook which I am giving. Now, whatever I have to tell you about SFM, I have told couple of things before I close this introduction. Strategic financial management in CA final is the most scoring paper. But learning it properly is extremely important, especially the concepts part. You have to change the way you have learned finance. In IPCC, we are more about by hearting the formula and doing similar problems in the exam. So you must have calculated cost of capital. But in the exam, similar question would have come. You can easily sail through. But in CA final, it is not possible. No, you can't by heart a formula and still carry on easily. That is not possible. You must understand the concept. Once you understand the concept, the confidence which you get is totally different. That command, what we call, you must get that command. That command can come only when you understand the concept. So being a scoring paper, you must actually target this paper for exemption in group 1 or very good marks, and then try to score as much as possible in the remaining 3 papers, but bank on this paper. Okay, so next time when I meet, I'll be actually going through the books. What are all the chapters we are going to cover, and how institute has devised the syllabus, how institute is going to ask questions, and how we should be actually planning tackle this paper. Therefore, what I'm finally telling you is, SFM being a scoring paper, you must not leave any stone unturned to ensure that you score at least 70 in this most interesting paper. So see you in the next lecture. Now let us see the book and what are the contents of the book. The book that is given to you is complete in all respects. What I mean to say is, it has got all the theory and all types of problems, including exam problems. In fact, the book is Bible to you. A to Z, everything is covered in this book. Many students tend to ask me, should I do that book, this book, etc. Owing to my experience over the last 120 odd batches and 18 years of teaching, I can tell you, or I can vouch, that this book is complete in all respects. If you have mastered the book, then you have time to do something more, then only you are supposed to look at additional material. And if somebody is doing this book completely, A to Z, understanding everything, solving every problems, then you can score as much as 90 marks also. What I mean to say is, this book is complete in every respect. Let us see the contents of this book. Now you have got syllabus, marks weightage as per ICA release, chapter wise breakup of exam questions, section wise theory list. Now what I have done is, I have given the list of theory questions which can be asked. It is comprehensive, means according to me you need not do any other theory question because it completes the entire syllabus. Then I have included November 19, May 19, November 2018, May 2018 question papers, and then the chapters are listed. Now let me go to the next part, that is syllabus. Now syllabus of SFM includes the first chapter, that is a basic theory chapter, then risk management, a very small chapter, then security analysis, portfolio management, securitization, security valuation, mutual funds, derivatives, forex, interest rate risk management, corporate valuation, mergers and acquisition, and ending with startup finance, a very small chapter. Now what the new syllabus students should appreciate is, institute has clearly given how the syllabus is broken into section wise for the purpose of asking questions in the examination. So you can see that we have got section 1, section 2. So these sections are given. And another important thing you must see, that they have given marks for each section. Means what institute is trying to say, that these two chapters which are there will not come for more than 10% of the total marks. So you have a plan in hand right at the start, that if I don't do these two chapters, then 10% of 120 marks. Why 120? Because there is a choice, or 124 marks. So 10% is 12 marks. So you may not be able to attempt 12 marks if you miss section 1. let me tell you, section 1 is predominantly theory. So you must actually understand what are each section, what topics come under each section. Are they problems? Are they theory? Are they inclusive of both? Based on the weakness and strength of a student, each section has to be prepared, keeping in mind this total number of marks or weightage of marks. Now section 2. So like that, every section is demarcated. Now section 2, 30% of the total marks can come. So 30% means 120 into 30%, 36 marks. So in 120 mark paper, you can expect 36 marks from this valuation of preference shares, valuation of bonds, fixed income portfolio management, equity analysis and valuation, equity portfolio management, alternative investment strategies. So you know beforehand only what is at stake. If I am doing section 2 exceedingly well, I can expect minimum of 20%, that is 24 marks to 36 marks. So if you are very strong in this section, then you can count for 24 marks. That's how you have to interpret. And suppose one particular chapter is your weakness, say fixed income portfolio management, and all the others are your strength, then you must rectify that weakness, because you are good in every other thing in this section. Suppose you keep this weakness and major mark comes from this part, then you are unlikely to take advantage of your strength in all the others. So suppose you have so many weaknesses and you have got only few strengths, then you might leave. Remember, when you are leaving, you have to straightaway subtract that many marks from 120 before you go to the exam hall. So what I'm trying to say is, for new syllabus students, Institute has given this section wise breakup of marks. It need to be understood very carefully. Whenever I am talking to you while taking the course, I will keep on telling you that it is this section. Now if you are doing portfolio and bonds and you want to omit this preference share or alternate investment, then you should not do. So try to cover the entire section, so that at 24 to 36 marks you are completely protected. Now comes to section 3, 20 to 25% of marks. Section 4 is predominantly forex. Now many students keep on asking me, forex is very difficult, should I leave? Tell you frankly, at the end of the course, you will find every chapter equally easy. I keep in mind which are all the problem areas for student, and I spend more time in those topics. So what happens is, when we are spending more time, we are trying to learn very well. So in the end, you will not find forex learning very difficult, but doing forex problem is a challenge. It requires a lot of concentration. Students do not pay attention, or they are not that much concentrated when they do forex problems. Therefore they end up with errors, and therefore there is a dislike. Trust me, I have got so many students who would prefer to do forex earlier than other types of problems. So you should not have a negative bias right at start. You must learn everything, assess your own strength and weakness at the end of the course, not in the beginning. In the beginning, keep your mind open, learn everything with full effort and equal liking. Now forex, again you can see 20 to 30% of marks. So 20 is 24%, 24 marks, 20 and 30 is 36 marks. So 24 marks to 36 marks. Suppose you are omitting the entire section 4, then what happens is, you are starting before going to the exam hall, you are going to attempt only 84 marks. So 120 minus 36. So when you are going to the exam hall with only 84 marks, you must know that you should know those 84 marks exceedingly well. Then only any problem asked in that 84 marks will give you that confidence to score good marks. Now similarly we have section 5, fairly easy. Section 6, full theory. Suppose you omit this theory. No, I don't like theory. I don't want to do theory. Then straight away forget 12 marks. So 4 to 12 marks you will have to forego. So not doing theory is extremely risky in SFM. Why? Section 1 is predominantly theory, section 6 is predominantly theory, so both total come to 10 to 20%, means 12 to 24 marks. So you get theory questions for at least 12 marks, maximum 24 marks, and usually I have seen using the past 4 papers, I can tell that you will have to at least attempt 12 marks. Suppose you don't do theory, that is section 1 and section 6, then straight away forget 12 marks out of 120. That is quite risky. Trust me, when you see problems which are very difficult to solve or very time consuming, theory comes as a big support to any student. And when I am teaching, I will be covering most of the theory. So when I am covering most of the theory, then what is the problem? Okay, and we'll be marking notes also. And I told you that you have to keep a dedicated theory notebook. So when you are completing one lecture, after completing one lecture, whatever was theory covered in that lecture, you can straight away prepare notes in the theory book. So what is happening is you are piling up your theory answers day by day. As the course gets completed, you have completed the entire theory notebook ready for study or revision. So theory is extremely important. You are not supposed to forget that, or you are not supposed to omit that. Now we can see that the exam questions, till now 4 exams have been held: May 18, November 18, May 19, November 19. Now you can see that in the section 1, now just see here, total 12 marks. In November 18, 4 marks. May 19, 8 marks. November 19, 8 marks. So November 18 was an odd paper, so you can say that around 8 marks. Suppose you don't do section 1, forget 8 marks. Now come to section 6 before we do other sections. This section 6 again 8 marks. This also 8 marks. 12 marks. 8 marks. Now apart from this section, some question might come which is very difficult to be included in one particular section. It may pick up concepts from various sections. Some concept of portfolio, some concept of forex, some concept of derivative. So I have put that in miscellaneous. So it's very difficult to demarcate how many marks. So you can see November 19, 16 marks came and 8 marks. So we can actually allocate in the remaining sections if we know exactly. Now that I had to see this concept 2 marks, portfolio, this concept 2 mark, derivative. So I have not done that breakup to avoid confusion. So we can see that 8 marks come from section number 6 and 8 marks come from section number 1, means 16 marks you will get. Trust me, is hardly few pages to study to get the 16 marks. So smart students will target section 1 and section 6 first. Knock it off. Then you are getting assured yourself of 16 marks. So that's how you have to plan. Thus, you have to spend good time in understanding each section, which are all the topics which are there, in which are what are your weaknesses, rectify that, and that's how you should proceed. Now, section 2, we can see that the questions which have come now, this is quite heavy. So 27, 33, 37 marks have come, maximum 36. Here 28 marks have come, here 24 marks have come, and here 24 marks have come. So we can say approximately, remember when new syllabus is introduced, it's very difficult to set a question paper absolutely as per a model. So you can see it will now stabilize. So ignore the first two papers, take May 19, November 19 and take it as that trend. Now section 3, you can see that 14 plus 19, 23 marks, 20 marks, 28 marks. Now this is 32 marks. Now maximum you can ask is only 25%. 25% is, it is approximately 30 marks, but they have asked for 32 marks. So you cannot expect that perfection will be there. They are given a range. So as per the section or as per the syllabus given by institute, not more than 30 marks can be asked in section 3, but they have asked 32. It's possible just 1 or 2 marks here and there, because it's very difficult to make a break possibly. Section 4, Forex, as I told you, many students find Forex difficult because they don't solve the problem with total care. So we can see Forex 24 marks, 28 marks, 24 marks, and only 20 marks. So possibly institute has not given its due weightage. So even if it is 20%, it comes to 24 marks out of 120. So instead of asking for 24 marks minimum, they have asked only 20 marks. Section 5, one of the easiest section, 16 marks, 20 marks, 16 marks, and 16 marks. So we can see that 16 marks come from section 5. So you have understood that how institute is breaking its question paper for various sections. So you must target a particular section. For example, I want to do section 2, 3, 4 exceedingly well. Now suppose you are doing 2, 3, 4 exceedingly well. See, you are covering 24 plus 32, 56, 76 marks. You are actually doing very well. So 76 marks is what you will be targeting for the examination. There are students, some of my students, they don't want to do theory at all. Forget, I'm not going to do. So section 1, section 6, I'm not going to do. I will do this 76 and I will do 16. So total 92 marks. I'll go for exam with 92 marks preparation and try to score 70 plus. Good. So form your own strategy, but understand your weakness and strength. Now it requires good amount of planning, and there should be no half-heartedness. You must be very sure, and you must do the chapter exceedingly well. This is about exam questions I given. I given notes, blank pages to make notes whenever you want to write something. See, I given section wise theory list. See, I told you section 1 carries 12 marks. Sorry, anywhere between 4 to 12 marks. This is what you have to study, only this much. So you have to study some 7 theory question, and then after doing 7 theory questions, you will have to solve problems in risk management that covers anywhere between 4 to 12 marks. How much time it will take? Hardly 1 hour. After you have learned risk management problems, at most 1.5 hours. In 1.5 hours, you can gather 4 to 12 marks. And why we should leave it? No, you must actually see the time that is required to prepare. Suppose I'm leaving theory, understand that. Then, theory takes less time to study because I listen to the theory content in the lecture. I have prepared a theory note and I had to just run through. So, you have to see the time trade-off also. So, it takes less time. In the exam, it takes around 7 minutes to write one theory answer. So, in 7 minutes, I'll get 4 marks. But if I do a forex problem, it will take 25 minutes, I'll get 8 marks. So you must do the time trade-off also. So you can't abruptly say that now I don't want to do theory. If you prepare properly, theory is your friend. If you treat it negatively, then it is going to hurt you in the exam. So you have to keep this in mind. So I have given theory list under each section actually. Usually in section 4, we don't get a theory question usually, but institute, I will not take any chance. All the sections you will get theory question. That's how you have to prepare yourself. Many of the theory will be now you see section 6. Section 6 we have got total 16 theory questions. So what you have to do is you have to actually prepare the 16 theory questions well. Means any theory question in section 6 which again carries 4 to 12 marks will be covered in the 16. So that's 16 plus 7, 23. So 23 odd questions if you prepare, you are taking care of 8 to 24 marks. So that's how you have to think. It's going to consume less time and it's going to be beneficial for me. Okay, if you are not good in English, better that you write bullet points in the notebook and keep on studying that. That is a better way. Now let us see what we have in the book further. So I have given this exam question paper November 2019. So the entire question paper is given. Now you can see before I can take May 19 also. See what is given. Question number 1 is compulsory. And answer any four from the remaining 5. And working note should form part of answers. So question number 1 is compulsory. Now this is where institute has taken something in its hands. Now which section will come in question number 1, that is not required to be told to students. So it can come from section 4 forex also. It can come from section 2. It can come from section 3. It can come from section 6. Because in one question paper I remember there was one theory question also. So it can come from 2-3 sections. So by omitting one section, remember that compulsory part. Okay, suppose you have omitted section 4 forex. In the compulsory part, there is one 12-mark problem in forex. Now you have left that. So you will leave that 12 marks. Then you have to do the remaining. Now in the remaining, please understand, you know everything exceedingly well. Question number 2 to 6, you know everything. But you cannot attempt that because question number 1 is compulsory. You have to attempt that. So you have to keep this also in mind. So question number 1 is compulsory. So you can say that a student who is preparing all the sections equally without any bias definitely stand a good chance to score good marks. So it is very important that you understand this part. So question number 1 compulsory, it can come from any section, and that is what institute has in its hands. You can't actually run away from that. So you have to think this way. Before I go to the exam hall, I will keep 20 marks aside. Let me do 80 marks exceedingly well. So if you think that, then question number 1, assume that you are not able to attempt, forget. The remaining 4 out of the 5 questions you must do exceedingly well. So prepare a strategy according to your strength and weakness, according to your plan. Prepare a strategy. Remember, it is a final exam and SFM is a scoring paper and you must plan very well. So question number 1 compulsory, you can see this May 19, they ask one problem in valuation. So they asked in valuation this, they have asked again in valuation, and you can see this was there in old syllabus, now they removed. So this is a theory question. So theory question has come. So suppose somebody is omitting theory, institute has caught them here. So if you are going to omit theory, forget. So institute encourages students to do theory also. So 4 papers are provided to you. So here again you can see question number 1 is compulsory and attempt any 4. See, first it has come from bond market valuation, and now you can see forex problem has come, and you can see section 6 theory has come. So one theory comes, so you can't escape actually. So theory has to be done, and total out of the remaining 5 questions you will have to attempt 4, and each question carry 20 marks including compulsory. So 20 into 5, 100. Now May 18, again question 1 is compulsory, any 4. It has come from mergers and acquisitions section 5. It has come from forex section 4, and there is a theory question. Now this is again old syllabus, so now it is not there and all. So what I am trying to say is, now when I say old syllabus, do not get confused. It is indeed, it was part of new syllabus, but after 2 attempts, that is May 18 and November 18 attempt, institute cancelled 2 chapters, or in fact 3 chapters. One chapter was Islamic finance, they cancelled. Small and medium enterprises, they cancelled. Indian financial system, they cancelled. So this was from Indian financial system. So 3 chapters they are removed in the new syllabus. So the new syllabus got modified in just in 1 year time, immediately after 1 year completion of introduction. So it's good that you have got less things to study. So this complete the question papers. Now then we have got chapters, and every chapter will consist of 3 parts if they are applicable for that chapter. For example, first I will give all theory. So all theory notes are given here. So what are derivatives, what is underlying derivative instrument, etc. So every chapter will have a theory part, and after the theory part is over, if it is applicable for that chapter, then we will have concepts also. Now most of the concepts we will be writing in the notebook, and some of them we will be marking in this book. So concepts, what are the concepts you must know. And after that we have got, once the concept notes are over, we have problems. So these, whenever we see this, we will be doing everything in the class. As I already told you, whenever I teach, once my teaching is complete, most of the problems students solve themselves. In case they require some assistance, I guide them. but I make them solve in the class. So what I do is, now here what I will be doing is, when I come to the problem, we will read the problem, we will talk about what is given, how we have to proceed. Then when I start solving the problem, you can pause the video, you can solve the problem. Once you have completed solving the problem, then you can run the video and compare your answer. And when you do that, you will know that your answer is correct, learning is complete. But don't check only the answer. See whether you have written all the steps what I have written. And then what happens is, your answer is totally complete. The presentation part is also important. In May 2016 exam, I remember very well, many students did not write every step actually. They lost marks. They got 0 marks, some of them. Despite correct answer, they got 0 marks. So that should not happen. So once you compare the next answer and everything is complete, then we go to the next problem. So like that. So most of the problem, if it is possible, you can solve. Or if you want to adopt a second method of study, you can go through how I am solving. Then pause the video, solve once yourself. So you will be solving 2 problems at a time. You can have a separate notebook for your solutions. So then what happens is, you are solving 2 times. One, you are solving with me when you will actually write in the notebook. Second, you will pause the video and solve. Now you have to take care of the time. You can't take unlimited time. Then what happens is, then it becomes a stumbling block. That momentum will be lost. So you can pause and solve the problem, or you can actually go through what I am telling, and then you can practice later on. Now these are the problems. Every problem will be, problems are given. Then you will have something called problem for practice. Now answers are given here. So you will be solving these problems and you will be verifying your answers with these answers. Once you have attended the lecture, once you have solved the problems in the class with me, then this should not be a problem at all. But if you have missed something, and you are not written the notes also, and you are trying to do this, then it can be a challenge. Then possibly, in case you have missed some concept, then you will not be able to solve the problem. So like that is given for all the chapters. Now then important concepts also are covered in the book. Then we in the end, after the chapter is over, or once you come to the end, that is, we can go to there is something called theory of other chapters. Chapter number 1 is not covered in this book, so therefore I kept it separately, theory of other chapters. So chapter number 1 theory is covered here, and sometimes institute go to ask something away from syllabus, means we cannot identify that particular topic to any chapter in so therefore that I kept it here, hardly 1 or 2, like P notes and preference to invest in India. I've added. They are not asking the exam. Difference between offshore funds and asset management mutual funds. That's all. Now Annexure B is extremely important to you. It has got all the important formula. Now, once I complete every chapter, you can see these formulas are listed here. Price of stock futures, index price. So all the formulas are given. So before you start solving problem for practice, you must go through this. Before you do, when you are going to do revision, then you must learn these problems. Sorry, this formula. That will help you understand the formula first, then solve the problems. So like that, for every chapter, the formulas are given. Means you need not take pains to write in a separate notebook. As I told you, this book will be a Bible to you. Then we have got the present value tables, which you will be definitely using, PVIF table, etc. And this completes our book. So you can understand that this book which is given to you has got everything in it. So you must, as I told you, you must understand the entire SFM chapter, and I think it is broken into sections, and you must target every section. Let me complete section 1 first. Okay, max 12 marks covered. Section 6, max 12 marks covered. Section 2, max 36 marks covered. So like that, you must actually target preparation that way. So that will prepare you very well. It will be properly, oriented, for proper attempting in the exam. Now, in what order I am going to teach? Now, I will be starting with derivatives, futures, options, DDM, bond market, portfolio, hedging. So these six I'll be covering first, and then possibly we will be covering these two, because they have these three also, because they have derivatives linked to this. So we have got derivatives and some of them portfolio also, and then we will be doing the remaining. Now the order of teaching may be slightly different from the index. The reason being, I want you should understand every concept in every chapter. So I have to take you through a particular route. Now once you understood a concept in a particular chapter, it will be used in next chapter. So I have to keep that in mind. So therefore the order may be different. But you need not worry about those things. The only thing you must worry is how I am going to devote my time, how I am going to concentrate, how I am going to study immediately, how I am going to practice problems. Now that is a planning you have to do. Trust me, students who have learned under me have found, finance, SFM extremely interesting. And at the end of the course, I am confident that you will be, feeling very comfortable with this subject. Now, I have told everything what is required to be told before we start learning the first chapter.